Hi everybody. So today I'm going to try and cook porridge, and since I don't have wimby flour, I'll just use maize meal. I'll use maize meal because we used to use a maize meal when we are making porridge back home, so that usually gives you the white porridge. Then the wimby gives you the brown porridge. So but I haven't made the white porridge in a long time, but I want to try today, so that I just see if this type of flour, this maize meal flour, will give me white porridge, and I hope it does not backfire on my face. But I will just slightly explain the ingredients. So I have whole milk here, organic whole milk. Then I have my butter. So aside from that, those are the only two things I usually add. For sweetening, you can use stevia or honey as a sweetener. So then I have, this is my plate, so let me put it here. That is where we will serve the ready porridge. And then now this, I've already put a little bit of water. I don't want to cook a lot because I don't want it to backfire on me, so I've already put a little water. So there are many ways of cooking porridge. One, there is a way whereby you would put the flour inside the water and just stir the mixture as it heats up, and that gives you a really thick porridge. But in the course of the stirring, it starts to become a bit solid. So the more solid it becomes, the more you add either water or milk. As back at home, that's the porridge I used to make for my child. That's the way I used to make porridge for my child, so that by the time I have the finished product, it's thick. So I used to just keep on adding milk. When it turns a bit solid as I'm stirring, I add a bit of milk, until the mixture would become like, let me say, like, you could stir it, became like, let me say, stirrable. You could actually stir it, and then I would add some just a bit of honey, because she was over 3 years old. So I'd add honey, and I will add a bit of blue band. So that's how I cooked porridge for her, because the end product would be really thick and it would keep her full for long. And then in that flour we had a lot of stuff. I mean, when you have moms who've lived like in a traditional setting, they know how to, grind all these different products to give you one really rich flour that would like keep the child long for full for long, and it would have like tremendous benefits to that child in terms of health, the vitamins and everything else. Like the wimby flour we had was wimby. It had groundnuts inside it. It had something we call omena flour as well. So there's a lot of things that we used to add into that flour that makes that flour really rich. So the way I made wimby porridge is just this same way I'm going to try and make this maize meal porridge. So I would put a little bit of water. Then let me start by heating that water up, and then this is my small mixture, like a mixture bowl. So what I'll do is I'll put in some water here, and then I'll add flour in here. Then I'll be stirring it into like a consistency. So once the water boils up, it's just the same way that you cook maize meal, but once the water boils up, now you start to pour this mixture into the water and you start to stir it. So let me just put some water here, then I show you guys. So I'm just cooking a little, I don't want to put a lot. So the more flour I put in this mixture to stir, influences the consistency of my porridge. Meaning, if I put a lot of flour, then my porridge becomes thicker. And the initial process of stirring is the most important, because that is where sometimes you get porridge which has lumps inside it. So the quicker you stir and the like how consistent you are with stirring and how quick you are with stirring, especially when incorporating this the mixture into the water. That is what determines how your porridge will look like in the end, and how much flour you put as well. So I'll just start by putting I hope this does not backfire on me. So I'll just start by putting that. So also the amount of water as well just influences the amount of porridge you're going to cook. So if you put a lot of water, it's going to like be a lot of porridge. So the water is already starting to heat up, so I must like get my mixture ready. So I'm just stirring here, guys. Let me just put some light on so that you guys can actually see exactly what I'm doing. That's better. So I'll add some more flour. So so this is also another form of breakfast, yeah, that you can have. And this is also like a comfort, something like more of like a comfort food, cause when it used to be so cold and your heater is on, you with your blanket, I'd go cook porridge very quickly and come and sit in the sitting room watching my movies while taking porridge. So it's also like comfort food. And the weather right now, just with the weather that is currently like underway, we need like something like comfort food. So this is how I've always known how to cook porridge. So that water is heating up really quickly, and you can see, guys, the consistency. I'm just going to add a bit more. That should be the last one, because I don't want it too thick. So the water is boiling. You can see the consistency, guys. So this water is boiling, really boiling. So I want to just show you guys what usually happens. So once the water is boiling like this, the same way you cook maize meal, that's the same way you're going to add this mixture inside. So I'm going to add as I stir. So I add as I stir, and there, guys, you can already see it's starting to solidify. I haven't even added the whole mixture, so I'm going to add a bit more. So I will add a bit more, and then I will tackle this thickness by adding milk. So guys, you have to keep stirring, and I'll just reduce the fire a bit. You can see, guys, already too solid. So I did put a lot of flour, but what I want to do is, I'll leave that a bit. So what I want to do is, you can see I still have this mixture, so I'll just add a bit of water and put all the mixture in it. Then I stir. So this, I can tell it will have no bumps because I was really quick in stirring it the first time. So I just keep stirring. So this is one really great feeds about when you're weaning, when you start your child on weaning. This is like one really nice, especially because less than 1 year old. I'm thinking it's 1 year old, but you guys can also do a research. I can do a research and tell you guys, but I'm sure less than 1 year olds are not supposed to take honey. So with babies, you can try and find alternative methods of sweetening their foods. The good thing is that babies haven't really formed a certain taste to their mouth, so they would eat anything that is sweet. So So if you wake up in the morning and cook this for your child, then it keeps them full for long. I mean, with babies, you all know, once a baby's like pampers are dry, baby is, you know, like the temperature, baby is not too hot or too cold. If baby is full, that baby will sleep so well. So if this is one of the things that can make your baby sleep well and grow healthy, then so be it. So I'll now start by adding my milk slowly. So most Kenyan schools, this would be typical breakfast in most Kenyan schools, because like us in most boarding schools, actually, not just all schools, most boarding schools, like the primary school I was in, we used to wake up, I think, at 4:30. By 5 you had to be in class. By 5 a.m. you had to be in class. Guys, see how soft it's becoming. So I just want to keep adding milk until it's like a drinkable consistency. So we used to wake up at 4:30. By 5 you had to be in class. So by 5 you're in class. 5 to 6 we had like 1 hour of like study. So during that 1 hour you do like a cut or something. Then after that at 6:30 we would go to, no, at 6 we would go to the dining hall to have porridge. And sometimes we used to have the brown porridge, which is wimpy porridge, and sometimes we used to have the white porridge. So that was back in primary school, and this is like, that was every morning. It depends on the school. Some schools have it every morning. The high school I went to, we had porridge every Saturday morning, and it was white porridge. Every Saturday morning is when we had porridge. The rest of the mornings we had tea and bread. So we used to have breads that haven't been sliced. So our prefects used to slice the bread for us, and it used to be like a chunk, like this size, a chunk of bread, and then they would give you something we call chroma. It's like butter or blue band, so it's something we call chroma, and you'd apply. So, and since our school, we were allowed like to have a bit of snacks here and there, and we used spreadables. So we used to have either honey or jam. So you just apply and eat, and you have your tea and you go. But every Saturday morning was porridge. So most schools, most primary schools, boarding schools, primary or secondary, porridge is usually in the mix. Whether it is every day or once a week or twice a week, we have porridge. So this is something that it's like a staple back in Kenya. So I'll just keep stirring this, and I've already added my milk, and this is a drinkable consistency, guys. You can see. So this could be like a family treat. Because me, when I cooked porridge, I used to cook for my mom as well, and my sisters, and we used to drink and make stories and everything. So the good thing about the wimpy porridge, I remember back home we had flour, like wimpy flour, so I'll just leave that to a boil. So we had wimpy flour, which is already prepared, and it has the lemon inside it. So if you buy the pure wimpy flour, you'd sometimes have to put lemon just to add to that tanginess, of which I'll also put in this one, because that lemon adds to a bit of tanginess, and the porridge tastes really good, especially when it has the tanginess and the milk and the butter. So I'll just squeeze in a bit of lemon, not too much. So on a good day back in school, you'd have the thickest porridge on a good day. On some days, that porridge was not thick at all. Some days you are drinking like water. So this is boiling. So for me, I usually like to add my blue band or butter like towards the end when I'm almost removing it. and the sweetener I could add it either on the plate or still when it's within the fire, but I preferred to add it on the fire because like the more I add, the more I tasted it to see if it is like, if it's too, I felt like I could measure it more when it was on cook, while it's cooking, because I could taste it, because once you put it on the plate, then you could put too much. And then if you don't like stir it properly on the plate, you'd find that you'd eat like a whole spoonful of honey or something if you don't mix it well. So I'll just reduce the fire and give that time to boil. This looks like very nice porridge, and I thought it would have backfired on me. And then the thing is that, you see, back home when we used to like, I also remember when my child was way smaller, we used to get like that mixture of flour from back home. So we'd get wimbi, we'd get soya, we would get the omena, and we would take them to, there's a place called like a posho mill, and that place they grind those dried foods and seeds together to form the flour. And then so once you're from the posho mill and you've ground everything up together, then it comes like it's already like ready to be cooked as porridge, because it's already flour. So we just store it and then we'd cook for my child. So that is what my child had like most breakfasts. So porridge doesn't take a lot of time, probably about 10 to 15 minutes for it to be ready. So I'll just start by first adding my butter. So that is, I was saying, that is what my child had most breakfasts, and she really loved it. And after that she would have like a bowl. Let me show you what size, like this sized bowl of thick mango like puree, thick mango puree. So up until now my child does not eat mangoes. She does not like mangoes because I think she had too much of mango, so that taste is like I don't want that. So she doesn't have mangoes, she doesn't like mangoes. Even if you give it to her right now thinking that she forgot about it, she still remembers how much mango she had as a small baby. But she used to love mango a lot, and it was like she would have her breakfast, that thick porridge, and then would stay like an hour or two. But my child has always been a good eater, so she would have breakfast like from 7 to around 10, and she would finish that bowl of porridge. And then it started as a joke because we used to either give her that or yogurt, but again we realized she preferred the mango puree, the thick mango puree. So I'd make for her mango puree. I used to buy a lot of mangoes, so I'd make for her mango puree, and when I made for her mango puree, she used to like it. So every time if you try and skip the mango puree to give her orange juice, she'd refuse and cry. So it just became, it's porridge, then it's a mango puree, and she used to finish that mango puree within 30 minutes, that full bowl. And then she would go to sleep, and she used to like sound sleep, and I would wake up. Sometimes I try to wake her up and she just stands and looks the other way. She was really full. And the good thing about that is that at least I knew she's getting healthy. At least I knew she's getting healthy. And the fact that it was mango puree, at least I had like, I was happy because it's like a fruit and it has this benefits of vitamins. And aside from that, the wimbi porridge had like a lot of health benefits, so I wasn't really worried. And then after that she would sleep like for 4 to 5 hours, but I'd watch her. I'd really watch her. So we had a little crib there at the dining room, so I would watch her sleep, and I would do my stuff. Then she would wake up like at around probably 4 or 5. Then after that she would have her dinner. So her dinner was kind of light, would have like an avocado, thick avocado puree, or avocado puree mixed with anything. So most her dinners were fruits. Then I'd give her juice, then we'd go to bed. So when you go to bed at night, she'd wake up and breastfeed just, I think, once or twice. Then that was it. So she'd wake up she'd go to bed at around, I think, 8. At around 8. She's always been a good eater at around 8. Then at around 12, she'd wake up and breastfeed. Then at 3 or 4, she'd wake up and breastfeed. And then that was it. So that was the routine. Guys, I've already added my butter. You can now see the consistency. It is drinkable from a cup. It is, let me just say, scoopable. You can use a what is it called, a spoon as well. So I just want to add a bit more butter. So I'm just getting ready to plate it. So guys, the thing about porridge is that you can see the consistency. So now, for you to avoid those big lumps, you have to, immediately you put in the mixture that you have made with the flour, immediately you put in that mixture, you have to stir it really quickly and consistently so that you don't get any bumps. So you guys can see my porridge has no bumps at all. And if it had any bumps, trust me, I would blend it. I would blend it with milk, because I can't have porridge which has those bumps. That's why I also went and bought oats that is like purely flour. So you can see, guys, the consistency. If it gets thick when you put it in the water, don't worry, just add milk and stir it. So we are getting ready to plate now. So let me just move you guys towards the plate so that we can plate it. Let me just switch this. So that's that. So let's plate. You can see, guys, the consistency. And I've happened to cook more than I thought I would, but I'm glad it hasn't backfired on me. So I will definitely heat up the rest later and drink it in the evening, probably around 4 p.m. because right now it's like 9 a.m. But for babies it's fine, because babies, there's nothing really to worry about weight when it comes to healthy stuff like this. So so this is what we have right here. Porridge from maize meal. So let me just so we have this nice porridge from maize meal, and I'm going to have this now. Then I'm also going to have it a bit later. So this is what we have, guys. Porridge from maize meal. So I'm going to have this now, then I can have a bit later. So this is something like, if you really like want healthy porridge, you can have groundnuts and grind them and add them to your porridge to give it more protein. So it's something like you can do basically. You don't really have to have the Wimby powder, because you can have all these ingredients. You can have soya, dry them, blend them. You can have groundnuts, fry them and blend them and add them to your flour. Add them to your porridge while you're cooking to just give it a bit more, like, what do I call it, a bit more health benefits, and probably a bit more flavor. So for me, it's just like this. As I said, guys, you can add some stevia or honey as sweeteners. I hear some people add jam. They add strawberry jam or blueberry jam. I'm not sure, I have never tried it before, but if it's something you're open to, then you can. But otherwise, guys, that's it for today. So this is breakfast for me today. And until next time, see you. Bye bye.